Hello, my name is Mr. Kendrick, and welcome to my virtual curriculum presentation. I teach 3 courses here at Bailey Middle School. My first course for 6th grade is keyboarding and word processing. For keyboarding, we use EduTyping to give students a self-paced curriculum of lessons for developing their typing proficiency, speed, accuracy, and endurance at their own speed. Our philosophy is good posture plus good habits and time to practice will produce good results. Likewise, we introduce scholars to Microsoft Word. Many students come in with a strong familiarity with Google Docs. We start with the familiar things, buttons, text effects with stories, and then we proceed to introduce our students to the library of templates to create event flyers, and later some mock marketing materials. We later on train our students in the composition of formal business correspondence, including intra-office memos. Later on, we developed more advanced formatting techniques, paragraphs, line spacing, headers and footers, tables, and more. 7th grade entrepreneurship, we're looking at principles of business, purpose of business, and the concept of entrepreneurship. For purpose of business, we dive into types of business organizations from sole proprietorship to public corporations. We look at the main business functions, finance, accounting, management, and more, and then what I call the pairs, goods and services, wants and needs, consumers and customers, for nonprofits. For the concept of entrepreneurship, we look at the greats, case studies, names such as Gates, Jobs, the Wright brothers, Edison, Musk, and more. We look at what types of talents, personal qualities, professional skills, habits help these success stories overcome obstacles and objections to maximize their opportunities. We look at the entrepreneurial process from the Eureka moment to the initial public offering and beyond, product life cycles, basic valuation methods, because ultimately we're training our scholars for Shark Tank presentations, both as presenters and as sharks. This is ultimately their final project, and they're having a lot of fun already with this. Finally, we come to 8th grade economics. We learn basic terminology and then we dive into comparisons of economic systems from the very beginning in primitive societies, traditional, to command economics from monarchs and pharaohs up until communist regimes of late, market economics, and then mixed market economies where a mix of regulation and free market principles drive economic decisions and opportunities. We look at the evolution of trade from barter through to development of various kinds of money and what might be a post-money economy in our virtual and cybernetic information economy. Over each of these stages and systems, we look at the role of trust as the foundation of all economics. Sometimes we call it confidence. Namely, we basically like to do business with people we know and therefore trust. Moving on, we look at supply and demand and the role of price in our biting how much of something producers make and how much of something consumers demand. We use business simulations, including cool math, lemonade stand and coffee stand games to help develop an awareness in a fun way of these concepts. 8th grade and also 7th grade students are in teams competing in the stock market game. For the 8th grade component, it's more of a part of the central curriculum, learning about finance and investment. We have already begun model portfolio competitions and our first round of trades, and the students are having a good time with that so far. Likewise, though, in the real world, there are rules, and we then extend this to look at the institutions in the U.S. economy that keep the behavior of the market from diving into extremes of inflation and depression, and the role of the Federal Reserve, the Securities Exchange Commission, and more, in keeping the economy between the cones. That said, I'm Mr. Kendrick, and this has been my virtual presentation. Thank you for your attention.